Hi everyone, this is Sanjana from Mobcat, and today's video is actually inspired by a question which a subscriber has put up on another YouTube video where the subscriber has given their background and asked if an MBA is relevant. So what I wanted to do was, if there are more of you who are grappling with this question, should you opt for an MBA? Should you opt for an MBA now, or should you work for a couple of years? Can you pursue an MBA if your profile is not good, if your work experience is not relevant? I've heard a lot of these questions. So in this video, I'm going to give you the answers, and I can't tell you a yes or no, but I can tell you the circumstances where an MBA is good and where you might not want to opt for an MBA. So who should go for an MBA? Now, if you're interested in management roles, so what do we mean by management roles? What are these? So say you're good with numbers, you're interested in finance, you want to work with banks, or you're quite creative, you want to work in sales and marketing, you like the concept of, coming up with products, conceptualizing their features, or you're fairly motivated and you feel that, you'll be good at sales. Consulting, something which a lot of people are interested in, where you'll be working with one client for anywhere, say 3 to 6 months on a particular project, and then another client, and so on. So if you're interested in something like that, or if you feel that operations is your forte, where you can ensure that your company's product is manufactured efficiently at a low cost, while at the same time, of course, ensuring high quality standards and so on, or services are delivered efficiently, or you really like interacting with people and you feel that HR is something which is really interesting. So these are not all the management roles, of course, but these are some of the main ones. So if any of these interest you, right, then definitely you can opt for an MBA. Another reason for going for an MBA is if you want to advance your career. Because if you're going for an MBA from a top B school, and by top B school, I mean, say, take top 40 or top 50 B schools in India, which will include IIMs, IITs, FMS, SPJN, XLRI, and a bunch of other B schools. I'll actually put up a link to our Mobcat InfoZone section where we've listed out the top B schools for all of you. So if you're going for any of these, in that case, you can be assured that you'll basically start your career with a role at a high senior designation, at a high pay, and getting an MBA from a top B school. Again, what it does is it sort of guarantees that your career is future proof. Does that mean that you can never have, let's say, a bit of a stall in your career or something like that? No, of course not. But in good times, you end up doing better than average, and in bad times also, you'll end up doing better than average. So the chances of you being able to move to another company or be protected from a job loss is higher if you've done your MBA from a top B school. Now, say you have entrepreneurial ambitions, even then an MBA is a very good choice. Why is that? So when you have a startup, typically it could be a very small team, could even be just a one-person show. So in that case, the MBA courses, finance, marketing, operations, IT, HR, strategy, negotiation, law, all of these things will actually be required. And you will also have a lot of case studies, industry experience, clubs and committees, especially in top B schools, which will give you a lot of practical experience. You might get a lot of experience even in startup weekends, pitching to investors, how to write out a B plan, things like that. And again, if you're graduating from top B schools, what it does is it gives you a lot of credibility. If you can say that you're from an IIM or from an IIT or something like that, any of the top B schools, right? It gives you a lot more access to investors. Potential customers are more interested in meeting up with you. And another benefit which could happen is you could actually find a few like-minded people. You could form a team, or you could even get one or two employees from there, right? A lot of the top B schools have innovation cells. There's a lot of support that you get if you want to have your own startup. So that's again another reason for you to opt for an MBA. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone should go for an MBA. You might not want to do an MBA if you're really interested in what is commonly called core roles in India. So, if you're an engineer and you are really interested in that part of it, right? So, say you've done computer science and you're interested in the coding aspect or something like that, right? From a career advancement perspective, you can go for an MS or an MTech. You probably don't want to do an MBA. Similarly, if you're from the commerce side and what you like is more, accounting, right? Then something like a CA might work out better for you. Or let's say, you have a background in medicine or law or humanities or whatever it is, and that is the part which you're really interested in. Then in that case, you probably don't need to pursue an MBA. You could also have practical concerns, work related concerns, whereby you might not be able to opt for an MBA. Let's say if you're in a position where you cannot quit your job, right? An MBA is typically a 2-year MBA. You also have an exec MBA, which is like a 1-year MBA. Certain institutes have a 16 to 20-month program, but it's a sizable commitment. So if you're not able to take that much time off from your job for whatever reasons, you might not be able to go for an MBA. The other reason could be, let's say you have the startup idea and you've already started. So again, you might not want to put it in a 2-year hiatus and go and learn and then come back. You might be able to just learn on the job. So these are some of the cases in which an MBA degree might not be right for you. So let's say if you feel that, yes, I like the idea of being an MBA, maybe you want to advance your career, maybe you're excited by having a career in finance or consulting or marketing or whatever it is, right? So what are the skills which you need, right? Once you graduate and you go out and you work as a manager. Some of these you should ideally already have. A lot of them will get tested in, say, the CAT exam, the personal interview, and so on. But a lot of it will get taught and polished and refined during your B School MBA. So some of the main skills which you will require are problem solving, analytical thinking, logical reasoning skills. And this is something which is actually tested in the CAT exam or the other management entrance tests as well. Some form of creativity, ideation, this again is something which is quite helpful, especially if you are going for consulting, marketing, maybe even HR and so on, right? A manager would need to be creative and come up with new ideas, maybe to solve problems, maybe to launch a product. Okay, we're launching a new product. What could we do differently to ensure that it will get a lot of eyeballs or we'll get a lot of sales? Maybe a particular product is not doing well. What do we change to ensure that the sales go up? So creativity again is quite important. You'll also need what are called hard or technical skills. So especially say on the finance side, right? There's a lot to learn, which you do learn during your MBA program. Communication, interpersonal, negotiation skills, a lot of the softer aspects as well. These are things which do get tested in the interview, the group discussion or group exercise if an institute has one. But a lot of it can be learned during your MBA as well. You'll definitely need team spirit, leadership. You should be able to take initiative. You should put up your hand and say that, okay, this is a project that I want to run with, or okay, this is a challenge, let me think of a solution. So that taking charge aspect, right? That's again something which is extremely valued as a manager. And lastly, strategic thinking, coming up with innovative ideas, something which is disruptive, as we keep talking about these days, right? That's again something which you need to have or you need to pick up during your B School, your MBA degree. Now, at the same time, there are also certain things which you don't need. So, first off, you need to have a relevant commerce or come from a business background? No. I'm an engineer. I was a fresher, and there's a lot of people who don't have that commerce background, right? And it's not something which is required. You can have any undergrad degree and you can still pursue an MBA, and not just an MBA from anywhere. All you need to do is, crack CAT, clear the VAT and the interview, and you can get into the top B schools as well in India. So you don't need to have a relevant background. Another thing which you don't need for an Indian MBA, by which I mean, an MBA from an IIM or other Indian B school, is work experience. Like I already told you, I myself was a fresher, and typically most B schools will have at least, about 1/4, people as freshers, or some more people who have even less than 1 year of work experience. If you're wanting to go overseas and say study at a Harvard, a London Business School or something, you need many, many years of work experience. It's structured differently. But here in India, anywhere from 0 to 4, 5 years of work experience is like the sweet spot for the 2-year MBA degree. Yes, there are points which many institutes give for work experience, but typically the major weightage for your shortlisting is going to be your CAT score, and for your selection, it's going to be your interview. So there are no minimums that you have to have for, I would say, about 95% of the Indian B schools. ISB is an exception. That's typically a slightly shorter MBA for anyone who has more than 2 years of work experience. And again, it's structured a little bit more like the overseas programs. You also don't need a great academic profile. I have heard a lot of students saying that, my 10 score is low, my 12 score is low, I've not done well in college. Am I going to be able to get a shortlist? Yes, there are some institutes which give I would say a disproportionately high weightage to your 10th and 12th score. Many B schools have now decided to minimize the weightage for your college score. To take the CAT exam specifically, what you will need is 50% or equivalent marks in your college, and that's about it. So if your 10th and 12th score are bad, does that mean that all top B schools are close to you? No. Some will have a weightage for ACATS. For many, the weightage is low or it is zero, right? And this includes IIMs and this includes bunch of other top B schools. So don't let this fear hold you back from going for an MBA. In fact, if you get an MBA from a top B school, no one's going to ask you any questions about your ACATS anymore. Another common worry that I've seen is the ability to pay high fees, because most of the IIMs, most of the top B schools, right, your fees will be somewhere around 20 lakhs. In fact, I've sometimes seen people opt for B schools which might be ranked a little lower simply because the fees are lower, right? So please don't do that. Go for the best B school that you've been selected in, give your best, right? Try to go for, say, for example, IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Lucknow, where I'm from, right? So some of these, right? You get into any B school in the top 40 or top 50, right? You're pretty much getting a 100% bank loan. And for the bank, it makes a lot of sense, right? If you're going to graduate and you're going to get 1, 2, or 3 lakhs per month, not per year, right? Per month, will you be able to pay the student loan EMI, which will probably be 20, 30,000 per month? Definitely. For you also, if you're investing 20 lakhs and you end up making 12, 25, 35, 40 lakhs in your first year itself, right? It's something which makes a lot of sense. Remember, you're going to pay the fees once, but you're going to earn every year, right? I mean, when I did MBA, the fees were somewhere around 5 lakhs, but the average salary was a lot lower. It was somewhere around 10 to 12 lakhs, right? Maybe about 15 at best. Uh, would I be happier paying 20 lakhs where the average is 30 to 35 lakhs? 100%, right? Because every hike that you get, whether it's internal or whether it's moving to another company, typically it's a percentage based on your starting salary. So 10, 20, 30% of a 12 lakhs versus the same percentage for a 30, 35 lakhs is huge, right? So don't worry about fees. You will have a lot of support. Banks will give you more than 100% loan, especially if you're getting through the top 20, top 25 B schools. This will include all your living expenses, hostel, all of it. No one's going to ask you for, no one's going to ask a family member to sign, collateral, a guarantor to sign or anything. But you need to get into a top B school for this. So this is again something which is not required. What are the things which are required? Get a great score in CAT or XAT or any of the other national level top and MBA entrance tests. Put in the prep. If possible, go for guided coaching. CAT as an exam is very different from our school and college exams. The right prep will ensure that you get as high a score as possible. You do that, then clear the VAT and the PI, get into a top B school, make the best use of those 2 years. You learn a lot, you'll experience a lot, and then you're going to end up shining in the corporate world. So that's it from me on this video.